started around my city. You should come right with me, yeah. Feel me if you hear me, sip water like a fish, sip box water to the gillies, yeah. This a new wave, this a takeover. Do it for the future, time to get a world a makeover. Time never stops, no, the timing is not. Time to clean up the block. Streets been a mess, how can I breathe? Smoke in the air.
Yo, what's going on, everybody down here in Tampa? Out right outside Tampa, the Lithia area. Loving it. The weather's great today. It's not like 100 degrees, but everything's going great. Hey, I just want to give a couple shout outs to some people, and I got a new book out called Keep It Rolling. The cover's been kind of being modified back and forth a little bit, but hey, you give it another 72 hours and it'll be up and running again. And it's all good, because one thing I believe in, not being stagnant and constantly evolving on different things. And so for some people that's a problem, but for me it's not. But it's a great book, not because I wrote it, is because I kind of touch on things that in today's society, young people need to kind of learn to navigate and not always think that they have the easy path. And there's not an easy path of life, because life is a marathon and it's a journey. And sometimes it's a hell of a journey depending on who you are. So I want to give a massive shout out to Carlton Cartwright, man. You bought 12 books for graduation for students that are at risk at an at-risk school, and you're giving them out to help them be more motivated and let them know that just because the world doesn't see them now, the world can see them later. And then also shout out to my staff. I got Kelly, Mike G, I have Marina, and I have Mary. You guys, and Jennifer Blaylock, you guys are just Blaylock. You guys are a phenomenal staff. And, we've been at this 6 years on and off, making things happen within the community. And now we're kind of working on an influencer, Embrace the Power, Embrace You conference that's going to be coming up next year. So I strongly recommend everybody that's in the Tampa area, if you have young people, we're going to have influencers that are big time here on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. They're going to be there. We're going to have about 4 or 5, and they're going to be discussing different avenues, and we're going to set it up like the 4-pillar thing: health, spirituality, relationships, education, and entrepreneurship. So we're going to, touch on a bunch of different topics that should be motivational. I know to be motivational, and get everybody, in tune. And right now, where our focus is, I shout out to the Team House down there in Tampa. So hopefully that's where we host it, and it's still in the works, man. Like everything else with this economy, you got to look at funding and see if it's possible. Another shout out to my nephew for graduating from Purdue. Ike, man, you are the man. But most importantly, dude, the fresh haircut, GQ, you went old school, man, with the waves. Love it, man. I wish more kids would go back to old school haircuts and look clean cut. And I don't think many of them recognize when they go into the workforce that just because the rappers wear it, just because it's cooler in the hood, and just because your parents allow you to be an individual, organizations don't work off individuality. They work off the perception, and you are a product of a group. And then when you go to interview with people, you have to have a certain look, a GQ look, and a certain, decorum, and how your attire, And so I always say a lot of issues that these young people have today on attire has to do with the grown people that are in their 40s and 50s walking around like 15-year-olds. I don't ever think, and I don't ever realize that at some point, 50-year-old men running around with unlaced Jordans and jean shorts is age appropriate. But, we always talk about women wearing age appropriate clothing. Look, at some point, the women got to tell the guys they dress like little boys, and it's time to put some actual, clothes on that fit and that, look up to their, age. And, there's something to be said about being Esquire or GQ. I'm just sorry to say it, putting some cologne on, a nice fresh haircut. And if you don't have a haircut like I do when you're going to get a haircut, you just put a hat on, man. But make sure, you're always looking as distinguished as possible. And I think we've gotten away from that, and people, have their own opinion on it. But I think young men need to be taught proper etiquette and, and decorum. And I think that would curve a lot of the problems we have right these days that we see with young men, and moving on to another subject is, as our society has a responsibility to raise the next generation. And sadly, our society is doing a horrible job, of raising the next generation. So I challenge, the people in America to realize our next generation is the national defense, right? So the next generation has to protect the old people and the weak. And so our job as the current generation is to lay down a foundation so that our students are well mannered and physically fit, and they're up for the task like every other generation prior to us, has been up to. Now with some of those generations haven't been given a lot of respect, and they need to be. All right, so I want to hit something real quick. There's a clothing line for you guys that are first responders, teachers, and it's a discount clothing for Grayson Clothing. Hey guys, check them out. Sometimes a little pricey if you catch it on sale. It's great, just like going to Lululemon. Great company, love them to death. And if you get an opportunity, check them out, check their sales out, and get on board. Use your discount code, and hey, if you want something nice, that's great quality. But in anything in life, you're gonna have to pay for quality, right? So they have quality, and I love their product. Also, just make sure, hey, check out my channel on YouTube. I'm just growing on TikTok because I'm just not a big TikTok person, and my staff gets on me about TikTok. I always say it's the girls' platform, but I got TikTok up and running, and we're putting the shows on there, and I've had great guests. So next week I probably got about 4 great guests coming on. We have actress Anne-Marie Johnson. She's going to be coming on talking about her new movie. I've been posting it on my Facebook, my LinkedIn, and TikTok and Instagram. So she's got a great new movie out. I don't want to misquote it, but it's The Addiction to Hope, or Hope in that context. But just look up Anne-Marie Johnson. It's a great movie. I went to the red carpet event. It was down here in Fort Lauderdale. It was amazing. Well done. Good job. And the movie's actually getting a lot of traction. So check that out before you check out some of that other stuff that's on there, because there's a lot of stuff on Prime right now. Yeah, it's on Prime. Also, I want to also talk about, Fitz Collar. She's got a new book out, and I didn't have a chance to throw it up, but Fitz Collar's got a new book out. And she talks about cancer survival. She talks about fitness, and she's an amazing person. So if you get a chance, get a copy of Fitz Collar's book, Supercharge. It's out right now. I just got my copy yesterday. And, if you guys got an author out there that's got an electric book, hit me up, man, and I'll get them on the show, because next week we got Anna Clark coming on. She's a fitness person down here in Lithia. She's an amazing person. She's always pushing groups to be the best version of themselves. So she's going to be coming on talking about resiliency and a lot of things that require people to, really look at themselves. And then we got author Brandy Kelly coming on. She's going to be talking about a couple of her new books and how to motivate children, so if you guys know people that are pushing themselves to the next limit or trying to be the best version of themselves, being in the military, a teacher, it doesn't matter, man. Have them come on, keep it rolling, and then me and Mike G still have Embraced the Power, where we normally have like some of the bigger stars that we talk to from Hollywood, country music, or the, religious music, like from Maverick City or whatever. So we've had different groups come on our shows. But I can't say enough thank you to everyone that's bought my book, the people that have supported me. And I'm going to say this out to the young people really quick here. You can be surrounded by a lot of people. And the best statement I've ever heard is you'll find out who your friends are when you become successful. And so you have either 2 groups of people. You're going to have those that lift you up when you become successful, or those that are going to use you when you become successful. You have to navigate which side of the fence those friends are going to fall on. But what I will tell you this is, just because you have friends at high school, they may not be your advocates when you graduate high school. They may look at your life and say, oh, you think you're all that in a box of crackjacks, but no, you have decided to evolve. And so I got a massive shout out to one of my high school teammates, Penny Hobbs. Penny, big kudos to you and Aurora Rice for constantly supporting me in everything I do. And Deidre, you guys, I hands down, I got a group, and Kenny Blakely, Reggie Jones from high school. They've been in my corner since the 80s. And I appreciate that group of people every day. And you know what, guys, just remember, when you become successful, or good things are happening in your life, even after you go through some downturns, you make sure that you thank the other people that stick around, because best friends and good friends stick around, and then everybody else kind of just goes on the waistline. And so there are several people I want to give a shout out to for just things that have happened in their life and I think that, the world should know. There's Dr. Lori Shemmick. She's wrote some great books. You need to check her out. Follow her, Dr. Lori Shemmick. She is an amazing person. I've known her for about 15 years, and she's done nothing but being a avid supporter. My professor in Israel, Gila Kuntz, since I had her when I was a student, amazing person, another great support person for me. Dr. Charles Thomas, Anastasia Smith, Sims from Georgia Southern, that great team. I love the Georgia Southern alumni team there at GSU. Ava Edwards and her whole team, and Janice and Andy, guys are amazing people. And my homeboy, and my homeboy Brian Newton and Richard, you guys are just amazing. And folks, I could go on all day for the amount of amazing people I have in my life that God puts in my way. And a massive shout out to Coach Flora Benatar for becoming an assistant coach at Baylor University. Well-deserved U.S. national team coach. That's a well-deserved accolade. And last but not least, Mike Latimer. Oh my God, Mike Latimer just got the Bloomingdale High School coaching job. And Guy, you're doing a phenomenal job with Coach Bruce Gifford, Hutch, and Coach Clark, and just Coach Peterson. And Coach Sprules, and definitely my boy, homeboy. We go in the trenches. We've been coaching together for a hot minute. My main man, Coach Finn, man. You guys make life fun every day coaching. And with that being said, guys, I just want you to stay focused. These graduates are going out into the world. The world's a little rough, kind of like the 60s. Give them something to motivate them. Grab a copy of my book. Grab a copy of Fitz Collier's book. But it doesn't matter. Give them the tools, the resources, and the mentorship so they can be successful. And with that being said, guys, much love to you guys out there, and keep it rolling.